And away we go. Hello, hello, hello everyone. I'm just going to make sure that everything is working as is expected. If it's not, shout at me. If you can't hear me, scream. Lose your minds at me. One sec, I just need to make sure that everything is working fine. Ow, Iris. I'm getting clawed by a cat, and that's not quite what I expected. Okay, there we go. Is everything working? I hope so. Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Yeah, Leeds United are facing off against Fulham in a couple of hours' time, and I thought I'd have a little bit of a natter about it. And hopefully everything is going to go sort of okay, all working. Thank you very much. Hello, Ellen back. Hello, Matt. Hello. I'm going to go Football Guru because I don't know if you're naming anymore. I don't know. And hello, gloves are off. Sweet science. Sweet, 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 sweet science. So, I'm going to start by asking a fairly simple question. I say a fairly simple question. I know Ricky is, I didn't know if we were doing like a name thing or if it was a fly away, Keaton, or if it was a sort of online identity thing. I wasn't entirely sure. I know it's the same person. It's all good. I'm doing pretty well, Russ. I'm going to ask a very, very simple poll to start us off with, because I think it's a fairly important one. What do you think the result will be today? Bosh. And are we going with a lead win? Are we going with a draw? Or are we going with a Fulham win? Hello, Decky. Kind of curious. Want to know what people are thinking. What direction we're going. Want Iris back. I would agree. However, Iris has a tendency for shenanigans. And the more that Iris does shenanigans, the harder it is to stream. And the fact that this is the first stream that I'm like fully doing for a little while means that it's going to be a little bit of a tricky one. So I don't want to mess things up. And I also don't want to move the wrong things that... Oh, thank you for the gift of membership. That's gone to Matt as well. It did the bit of ding, but I don't know whether it worked or not. But I know that that's worked, so that's fine. Where's my brain gone? I don't know, but I've got super secret project things going on in a different tab, so I don't want to show that one off without like doing it as like a strategic leak. There's a few things where like as time's gone, right? I've got Morning Wayne, where I've like leaked a plan for an upcoming video or stream or something along those lines. This isn't that. This is I may like show a document at some point. It's not on purpose, but I'll be honest. It's a list of train stations, so I don't think it would help anyone in the first place, which is good. It's quite wise. I've just realised that I need to kick someone out of a Teams call because I have work between now and the Leeds match. This is why I'm streaming right now. I would like to do it a little bit later on. That's when I'll be over on Big Up with Jer from about 2:30. But I'm working the Real Madrid match in the time in between, which could be a little bit of a nightmare. And like, I would much rather watch Leeds play than Real Madrid because when you're watching Real Madrid play, it's literally just a case of watch some absolute children roll around on the floor screaming a little bit. I've seen less rolling and screaming from the baby. I have done my best to keep the baby unnamed. I will keep doing so. That's just to clear it up. I've not forgotten my own child's name. I'm just going to keep doing that. So I've seen a couple of people like complaining about it and being like, "Why won't you tell us?" And it's like, because you are weird and parasocial, and I know what the internet can be like. And the more that we can stop the internet doing its thing, the better. The new family's doing pretty dang well, Robbie. And the poll is doing pretty dang well as well, with 71% of you believing in a Leeds win, 19% believing in a draw, and only 10% saying a Fulham win. What's going on with the 10%? What's going on? I'm confused. Who do you think comes in for Stack today? That is a very, very, very good question, and I will do my best to bring up the right tab to set up what I think our lineup will be, which could take a moment. 1 second. Right. Is that gonna? No, of course that's locked. It would be too useful if that wasn't locked. Right, grab all of you, copy you, come down here, paste you. Bosh. Nice. Move it there. Cool. it's still got the Fulham lineup on it, which isn't quite what I wanted. But not the Fulham lineup, the Palace lineup, which is it's still not what I wanted, to be honest with you. Right, put that there. And lock you in position. Right. And I'm going to build a lineup from scratch with you guys, and I want to see if we all have the same sort of opinion. And if we don't, that's fine. We don't need to be mad at each other. I know people have a tendency to be mad at each other on the internet, but we can do without that, to be honest. I'm in the 10%, you're in the 10%, you're in the 10%. There's so many people in the 10%. I'm not a fan of the 10%. You want to draw. Why do you want to draw? You monster. You absolute bastard. Right, let's pull up monitor number 2. There we go. Let's... Oh, there we go. Right, let's build a lineup. So, in goal, I've opted for Lucas Perry. I think that just makes the most sense. I think he's made 2 mistakes, and they are admittedly big mistakes, and they have led to goals, but I'm doing that thing where I am also a goalkeeper, where I see that goalkeepers get a hell of a lot of stick for no apparent reason a lot of the time. You went draw, not one. Okay, that makes significantly more sense. And I recognise that goalkeepers get sort of laid in on for every mistake, but at the same time, if you're a forward and you make a mistake, that gets relatively ignored. That gets sort of, it's fine. Which kind of sucks, to be honest with you, because goalkeepers just get laid into and it's unfun. Maybe I need therapy around that, I don't know. In terms of the fullbacks, I've gone with what makes sense. I've gone Gabby Goodmanson out here in terms of a right back. Jayden Bogle has done a big social media post, which is a weird thing to do if you're not in the starting 11. So Bogle is my starting right back. I've heard word of an unavailable an unavailable Beal, which I think could be a little bit of a problem. So in the back line, I'm going to go Rodon. Rodon will be the right centre-back because what he tends to do is he tends to come across, plays a right-back when we are in possession, which I always love to see. It gives us that little bit more flexibility, more flexible side, more good side. I like it. Probably going to have to be Bornau as the other centre-back. I would have been tempted by Ampadu, but with Stack potentially unavailable, can't really go for that. And then Pascal Struijk as our other option, left centre-back. Midfield, right? And it's a question of do we play with 3 in midfield, do we play with 2 in midfield? Is a little bit of a weird one. I'm going with a 2. Ampadu is not particularly droppable, to be honest. Ampadu is just good at what he does. I love to see him in that role. Ampadu as that sort of defensive holding midfielder, kick some people, lovely. The Beal thing, I believe he is injured. If I am wrong, then I am wrong, but I've heard things from multiple people saying that Beal won't be available for Leeds United in this match. I would have put Beal in there over Bornau normally, but in the event that he's not available, it kind of has to be a case of off you pop. The other midfielder, and this is because I've been really impressed with the guy during... I'm going to move that backwards a little bit, sorry, amps, but let's make you a little bit more realistically positioned. It's someone that's been really impressive in recent weeks, and I would like to see a little bit more of this season. I'm not entirely certain if he will be picked, but I would like him to be picked. There is potential that he goes with Gruev instead. I think it's too early for Longstaff, so I've gone with Autanaka as my personal option, just because he brings that more sort of dynamic passing, decent bit of range to him. Stack injured too. That's the theory. I believe Stack is out. If Stack is in, then Stack plays over Tanaka, in my opinion. But that's the way that we're going to go at the minute. Just to check, by the way, and I need a little bit of a reminder from you guys right now. Buonanotte is 44, right? Not 44, 40. Because I need to add someone to my list of players, because if I come over here, I've just got... It's a dumping ground of footballers over there. So I'm going to have to put Facundo Buonanotte on the pile. So... No, you know what? I won't make a new one. I will just... There we go. Since Jackie isn't here anymore. Buonanotte is now Jack Harrison. Sorry, Facundo. I know it's a bad thing to be, but you are. In terms of the attacking part of the pitch, Calvert-Lewin is an absolute must-have. You can't not play Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's just good, isn't he? Then it gets tricky. Then, for me, what I want to see at some point, and not yet, because I don't think we're ready for that yet, because it's the wrong sort of timing for that right now, is I want to see something like this. I want to see Buonanotte here. I want to see Aronson here, and I just want to see chaos. And that's not going to happen right now, because that can't happen right now. But having these two just play off Calvert-Lewin and be able to make those runs would be absolutely delicious. However, that's not realistically going to happen at the minute. So instead, I'm going to say Aronson tucks in here, and then you've got Calvert-Lewin, and you've got Noah Okafor over here, able to do that sort of attacking side of the game. The theory is that this isn't realistically a 5-2-1-2 or whatever the hell it is. The realistic version of the situation is Calvert-Lewin plays more central, Okafor plays over here, Aronson plays in this entire area because he can just play across that line. But I think this is the sort of lineup that gives us the best opportunity here, because I think Fulham aren't as good as a lot of people say. A lot of people have been looking at Fulham and they've been going, oh, Fulham are a scary prospect, they're ridiculously good, all this kind of stuff. When in reality, I think they're not. I think a more accurate way of looking at it is that Harry Wilson is good. Harry Wilson is a ridiculously good player. There's a reason that we were looking at him and potentially looking at breaking the bank to get him. But when it comes to wider Fulham, I'm less convinced. So I'm going to bring this over. I'm going to pop it here. And I'm going to just sort of drag it. Right, looking at Fulham's recent fixtures. Beat Burnley, cool. Lost to Newcastle, fine. Beat Forest, beat West Ham. Draws with Palace and Liverpool. Beat Chelsea, beat Borough. The thing with the Chelsea win, I want to see if I've got the right post-it note. I do all of my notes on massive post-it notes right now. So that hopefully isn't too weird to hear, just pulling bits of paper out from here, there, and everywhere. Only in 2 of this run of matches, I'm ignoring the League Cup and the... Is that League Cup? I think it's a cup match. Yes, League Cup. I'm ignoring the League Cup and FA Cup because we don't have all of the details. Slink, you are having bad takes again. Stop having bad takes. You seem to forget that we signed Jack Harrison in recent years. Is against Burnley, they underperformed on XG. Created 2, conceded 2.4. They got out-created, by Burnley, which is not the best of signs. Against Forest, sure, they out-created them, fine. Against West Ham, they out-created them, fine. Against Palace, Palace created more chances. Against Liverpool, Liverpool created twice as many chances. Against Chelsea, Chelsea created 2.3 XG, Fulham created 1.2. Somehow, Fulham won that game 2-1. And I'm going to have a look at this, and I'm going to point you to the reason that Fulham won this game of football. Harry Wilson. I'm also going to point you to the reason that Chelsea lost this game of football. Marc Cucurella, who managed to get himself sent off, because of course he did, because that's what Marc Cucurella does. But if you have a look at the stats, have a look at the shot map. Andres Santos had a shot from the goal line that hit the post. Caicedo had a shot from a corner. Delap. This XG on this one, 0.67. Somehow saved. Hato misses from here. Delap misses from here. Neto misses from here. Hato misses from here. A lot of these, by the way, are from corners. This is from a corner. This is from a corner. That's assisted. Fine. They score from a corner. Hato from a corner. Open play, fast break, assisted, etc., etc. They are vulnerable. Fulham are a team that you can get at. And if we are playing the game that we can play, because I know that we can play it, we are quite a good team when it comes to set pieces, when it comes to transitional stuff, when it comes to making opportunities for ourselves, we can win. Chelsea created 4 big chances in this game and scored once. And whilst in recent years you would look at Leeds and you would go, well, clearly we're not going to score those because it's down as a big chance and we only miss big chances, that doesn't feel like that's where we are at the minute. We've got Brendan Aronson, who is just slotting away chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. We've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who is doing the same thing. Like, if I have a look at the Premier League right now. Come on, FBref. I love how when you check FBref on a Saturday, by the way, it just goes, well, I'm going to need to do a capture and make sure that you are a person, because we are getting bombarded, because today is the day that everyone wants their football data. But if I scroll to the bottom of goal scorers in the Premier League right now, and I compare leaders, at the top of the pile, Erling Haaland, undoubtedly the best striker in the league. We know this. This has never been in question. Followed by Thiago at Brentford. Again, ridiculously good forward. Followed by Semenyo. Again, very, very good. Slots in off the wing, now playing at Man City. Then, you get Calvert-Lewin, who is the top English goal scorer in the Premier League right now. Who's done so on an XG of 8.1. Scored 9. He's overperforming right now. He's doing very well. He's on sort of like peak Bamford form, is the way that I'm going to put that, where he's someone that, when it goes wrong, he'll frustrate you a little bit, but it doesn't go wrong very often. And that is a spectacular thing to be able to see right now, because this version of Leeds is causing problems for teams. And I don't see a single reason that this version of Fulham is going to be anything different. I think this Fulham is a side that we can overcome. And I'm not particularly scared. And that 6% that said Fulham win has come down from the 10 that it was. 19% saying draw, which is, again, the Leeds win percentage keeps going up and up and up, because I feel like there's a little bit of confidence from people going into this one, even if we don't want to admit it. Like, I know, it's scary. We don't want to sort of lean into things and be like, oh, Leeds are going to win, because when you say that and it goes wrong, you look a little bit of a tit. Trust me, I know, I've done this enough times. But I think we've got it, you know? I think we're in a pretty damn good spot. And I'm not particularly afraid. Like, having a look at Aronson's stats, for example. He's managed to score 4 goals this season. He's outscored Metro, admittedly, in twice as many minutes. But that's not particularly what you would come to expect from Brendan Aronson. And it's the fact that we're hitting a good bit of form right now. Admittedly, yeah, sure, we lost to Newcastle, but that was 3 or 4 individual stupid mistakes that led to their scoring goals. And then against Derby, things could have gone wrong, but we just walked on in and beat them. And that was quite nice. I don't know if you can hear the cat right now. If you can, say hello to Iris. Iris is about to say hi. No, don't hit me with the claws. If you're going to come up, come up. Don't malarkey me. Don't pull no shenanigans. Not sure I would... Not what I'd do necessarily, just see it happening if Beale's injured. I don't think we go to a back 4 if Beale's out. That feels like that'd be a mistake. I think back 5 is the way to go, at least in possession. In possession, we've effectively always played back 5. Like, weirdly, I think when we went to 3 at the back, we played with less of a... We played with more of a 4 at the back in possession, because Rodon just went to right back. And you still had one of the midfielders dropping in, so it got a little bit complicated. But it's a bit fun. Newcastle 2 goals in injury time, 8 total this season. Yeah, we do switch off at points, and it does lead to mistakes, and I think those mistakes are ultimately what cost us quite a lot of the time. And if we can avoid those, great. Iris, is she 80? No, she's a cat. How old is she in cat years? Like 20? I don't know. Old enough to be grumpy a lot of the time. I wonder if I can turn... I can't get her in the shot. That's a curtain, not a cat. But yeah, really hope Rodon's match fit today. Rodon, I think, will be match fit. He's had plenty of time to chill. Did he play against Derby? Sorry, for a little bit of context, right? And in fact, right, I'm going to ask you a question. Everyone considering the fact that I have both a baby and a lot of work today. Like, the reason I'm streaming now is in 26 minutes, I've got a shift starting. Pop in the chat just a number that is predicting how many hours of sleep I got last night. Kind of curious to see if anyone gets it, because if I'm a little bit scrambled, that's why I'll also be scrambled over on Big Up for the pre-match and half-time talks. I'm going to pop that link in the chat, actually, and I'm going to hope that people say hello, because that would be absolutely spectacular. Where's my link gone? This one. Bosh. There we go. Yeah, so if we could go over there when the match happens, that'd be absolutely spectacular. Just go and say hello. Just joined us, Stack Out. It's not 100% confirmed, but it's very much looking like rumour is stating that Anton Stack is not going to be available for Leeds this match. I'd like him to be, but it's not looking likely to be the case. Robert thinks 1, Ricky thinks 3, Scott thinks 3, the 78 RPM Savvy thinks 4, Thorn thinks 2, Ricky thinks 2 to 3, Matt thinks 2, Ellenback thinks 2 hours 56, that's very specific. Gith Yankee says 3.5, Yorkshire Robert is accurate with his prediction, saying 0. I did my best, but for some reason, brain was fuzzy and fizzing, and I've not had any sleep. So working at a little bit before 12, that goes right into the Leeds match. Like the Real Madrid match will finish immediately before kickoff. So I'll be working when I'm over on Big Up, but it'll be lovely to see you guys over there. Then it's the Leeds match, and then I'm working Forest versus Arsenal, and then I get to sleep. So that would be absolutely wonderful. Slink, you are doing that thing again where you are a little bit mean. Well, let's be kinder to each other in this chat, please. Do a little bit better, man. Don't worry, the first 24 years are the worst. Oh, do we want to do baby story time? Yeah, sod it. Earlier on, when I had just finished recording the video, that was the sort of pre-match, and it was sort of rushed because I was like, she is starting to wake up, I will get through the video. And it is like 8 minutes because I'd planned to do more, which is why I'm currently doing this stream. But I finished recording, upload the video, don't have time to do a thumbnail before I look over, and it's just a milk fountain, which was good. So I went through to change her, take off the nappy, which is of course full. Before I'm able to put on next nappy, because I'm like, I might as well do a full change. Both of the baby grows, like the inner and the outer one, and the nappy. Whilst the nappy is off, piss everywhere, which is absolutely spectacular. And then, yeah, it was great. It was fun, and here we are. Pop some magnesium if you need sleep. But that's the thing. At this point, if I go to sleep, I won't wake up in time for work. So I've hit the sort of spiral point of we're just going to stick with it. We're just going to ride it out, and it's going to be fantastic, and we're going to love it. Do we have, by the way, any more questions or anything? And this, we can bring back our favourite place. We can bring back Question Corner. I need a logo for Questions Corner. Do I do a logo for Questions Corner? I might do a logo for Questions Corner. Does anyone have any questions about anything related to Buonanotte, Strand Larsen, Harrison, who is now having his medical at Fiorentina? It has been seen. There has been a tweet showing it. Strand Larsen's at Fiorentina will be a very, very big switch in the story, and I would immediately change everything about this stream to make it about that. Harrison's at Fiorentina. But any queries, anything at all? Is Buonanotte available today? Yes, I believe so. The only thing that would stop him playing would be if we hadn't registered him with the Premier League yet. But even then, he's under the age of 21, so we wouldn't need to. We will have registered the fact that he's moved from Chelsea to Brighton to Leeds, which means that he will be available today. If he's not on the bench, it'll more than likely be a question of either fitness, because he hasn't played in the slightest at Chelsea, or it'll be a question of, does he know the system well enough yet? Which is fair enough. Like, if he is unavailable because he's not had any training, fine. Understandable. We'll see how that one goes. What does Buonanotte play, and how long until he's a regular? That's the question. Because, in fact, I'll have to double check my most recent conversation with our Leicester friend, Locks. It's been a while since I chatted to him. But we did chat a little bit Buonanotte. I can't find it anywhere. No, I did chat to Locks about Buonanotte. There we go. No, wait. No, I didn't. I chatted to him about El Canoes. Shit. Right, let's double check. Sorry, folks. I've confused myself. I have done myself a bamboozle, which is always good. But he tends to be, can play as a 10, can play on the wing, does a bit of both. That's why Daniel Farke, when asked on the press conference, he was sort of asked, what sort of player would you like? And he very, very specifically said, I would quite like someone who can play on the wing, can cut inside and play more as a 10, which is sort of like, okay, you're very, very deliberately describing Facundo Buonanotte. So clearly that's what's going to be happening. In terms of when he's going to be a regular, that one is a bit more of a complicated question. Because for me, that comes down entirely to how Brendan Aronson performs. Because if Brendan Aronson keeps performing to the standard that he is, he's sort of doing the job that Buonanotte is meant to be doing. He is fulfilling that same position. So if it's a case of, okay, so Facundo Buonanotte, does he get in over Brendan Aronson? For me, not right now, because I don't think there's enough there right now. I don't think he has enough match fitness about him for obvious reasons. He wasn't playing at Chelsea ever. I don't think he's got that much experience, and I think the form that Aronson is currently displaying completely blows Facundo Buonanotte out of the water, which means that for me, for you, Chuckle Brothers, you got to stick with Aronson for a bit, and then give Buonanotte sort of bit part appearances, and eventually he'll earn his place in the side. But that eventually is not yet. That eventually is on the horizon rather than immediate. Where were we? Within reason, what would you bring in during January? Where's our priority? I would like a centre-back as cover. I think having a centre-back covering in case of injuries, because Roden has just gotten back. If Biol is out, as is rumoured, then that's where things get a little bit dicey. We could probably do with having someone else in to support things. In addition to that, I would probably also... I'm tempted by a 9. The Strand Larsen conversation is very, very interesting. I'd like a backup fullback as well, but at this point I'm asking for quite a lot of things. But I think centre-back would be good. Fullback would be good, because we're a couple of injuries away from Sam Byram starting in the Premier League, and you don't really want to see that. And then a 9, which would be lovely. Peru to Rangers, maybe anything in it. I've not seen anything on that. But then again, I am borderline nocturnal at this point, so there's quite a lot that I'm missing. Like, I'm going to say don't take my word as gospel for a while, because my word is sort of built on nonsense for a little bit. 1 second, I'm just going to... There we go. How can we afford Strand Larsen with PSR? We can afford Strand Larsen by making £8 million worth of signings in... Well, £8 million worth of sales before June the 30th. Because you can amortise Strand Larsen over the length of his contract. Say he's worth 40 million quid, 5-year contract. You effectively split that out across the length of his contract, which is fine. If we're able to get that one done, delicious, wonderful. We'll see how that one goes. But if it doesn't happen, then that's also kind of fine. I'm not going to get too sort of het up about the entire thing. Like, that's going to happen from time to time. Does Strand Larsen like Yorkshire puddings? I imagine so. Buonanotte played for Chelsea in the Cup. That's fine, because he can play for 2 sides in a season. So he didn't play for Brighton, did play for Chelsea, will play for Leeds. He's able to come here and actually play some football. There's no like registration rules or problems surrounding that one, which is wonderful. If we had any significant issues there, I would be absolutely pooing myself. 1 second, I just need to do some corner rounding. There we go. Melia likely to be released, so he goes this month. I don't know. I think that would be a case of having to pay off his contract, and there's a chance that he just sort of waits. Because then he's able to collect the wages, which he's going to want to do. And in addition to that, he's able to get a big old signing fee in the summer, which is going to be quite nice for him. It's going to be fairly significant. He's not going to have a problem with that in the slightest. I think Strand Larsen's return for Zero's been a bit for a 9. Sorry, has been poor throughout his entire career. 1 in 4 and 1 in 6 for the national team. Yeah, but then again, a number 9 isn't just what they do in terms of goal scoring return. I think we've seen that consistently with Leeds. I think Pirro is someone that if we played him week in, week out, I imagine we'll get a reasonable return in terms of goals scored. However, it's the chance creation side of that he just doesn't have. It doesn't exist. So for me, he does a lot of the off-the-ball stuff really effectively, which is why I wouldn't really have that much of a problem with signing Strand Larsen. I think we're going to see Gabby masterclass today. There we go. Why was that so hard to say? First Leeds goal incoming. That'd be good. I think it's overdue, to be honest with you. Aronson can't be dropped right now. I agree. When Burnout is up to speed, he trumps Brendan, in my opinion. It depends on Aronson's form, because his form's been really, really nice. Left wing back cover would be good. I agree. I'm going to get up to where we're at. I don't think Gabby's overlooked. Everyone can see he's been one of the best this season. I think he's overlooked for non-Leeds fans. Leeds fans recognise that he's been ridiculous for us. I think outside of Leeds United, people see a left back and they go, oh, it can't be worth it. Whereas in reality, very, very much worth it. Big fan of Goodmanson. He makes me very, very happy. You're going to keep an eye on the Rotherham match today. What time are Rotherham playing? I imagine it's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Rotherham match. They are currently against... Not currently. They're going to be against Stockport. I imagine it's real difficult to find a Rotherham game. Plus, Leeds are playing at the same time, so I'm not going to give them that much attention. But I'm going to see whether Gray does anything. We'll find out. Pirro would be perfect for Celtic. He'd definitely get goals from. I love that in this conversation we've seen him linked to Celtic and Rangers. Somewhere in Scotland that will scream politics. I'd love to see him go to Aberdeen. Not Aberdeen. Hearts. Hearts are the ones that might win the league. Just because I'm bored of Rangers and Celtic winning every season. Let Hearts do it. Please. Just join the chat. Any truth in Stack and Beal injury rumours? I've seen quite a lot on the Stack and Beal injury rumours, which is making me think that that is potentially a thing. However, not fully confirmed, hence me making the stream title Stack out ? Uncertain. But if he is out, I think we've got enough to sort of deal with it. Can't we do it by loan with obligation? If it goes through the 1st of July at some next year's accounts, we could do that, yeah. But either way, I think it's getting amortised, so we'll find out. Smack a thumbs up. Indeed, pop a like on the stream. I've not seen how many likes are on the stream because I've forgotten to check. 58. Let's have a few more. That'd be lovely. Oh, become a channel member. You get videos early and stuff like that. And it's great. Iris, you're going to have to not be in my hands right now because Tired Joe is a little bit overstimulated and also back on the ADHD meds for the first time in quite some time, which is making things a little bit difficult. Where were we? What flight school did you go to? Oh, I'm a maverick. I don't go to any flight school. I mean, I play a bit of War Thunder, but I guess that's not a flight school because the number of times I've hit the floor trying to pull a maneuver in a MiG-15 is ridiculous. So, we'll see. 3. Is Ricky just now predicting how much sleep I got? I think Ricky's behind. Goodmanson's like Andy Robertson, not even joking. No, Andy Robertson does not have the legs of Gabby Goodmanson. We know this. You think we get Strand Larsen? I think it's going to be tough. I think he's been offered to a hell of a lot of clubs, but I've also seen people mentioning that we have a wee bit of interest and confidence in signing him. So that helps. I think a lot of clubs wouldn't make the move right now, whereas I think the 49ers are sort of wise enough to see that it's not open season on him quite yet. Like, we'd have to pay a little bit more, but it's in the same way that City have paid for Mark Gay when they could have just waited. Like, I think the reason that they've made that leap is to secure a player, and I think the 49ers are smart enough to do a similar thing themselves. Where are we? Stack is out. Why? I'm not 100% sure why he's out, but there's a hell of a lot of word going around about it, and I know this is overly reading into things. He's still not done his pre-match post, and we know that that pre-match post is something that he does as a matter of always. So the fact that that's still not happened is very, very weird to me, and I think is something that is perhaps worthy of paying a little bit of attention to. Have you been told this or your personal opinion? I've been told a hell of a lot of stuff around the Strand Larsen situation by multiple people, including at least 2 people that are relatively close to the club, which says that at the very least we are looking at doing the move. There's bits of it that are opinion, like the idea of I think the 49ers are smart enough to try and get things done early is opinion based, but it's built on a foundation of there is at the very least interest and he's being offered around, including to Leeds United. I got an interview at Barnsley to be a trainee coach. That sounds fun. I say fun. It's Barnsley. But that sounds like a hell of a career to have, and good luck. I imagine you're going to absolutely smash it. Don't use my videos as examples of tactical intelligence. I am a moron. Just to put that one out there. We need money for Peru. It's not just about clearing space and wages, so that rules a lot of the rumours out. I don't know if it does, because at the same time, Harrison going out to Fiorentina. Interesting thing about Fiorentina as well being the fact that they are in their centenary year. They're trying to do a hell of a lot of big work. I think he goes permanently, to be honest with you, which is 10 million euros, according to Romano, which is a decent sum of money in. It's more than 8 million quid, which clears the Strand Larsen requirements, which is good. And also it clears a chunk of wages, which is also good. Is it time for the sack for Faker incoming? Right, considering we're above the points per game target that was set, we have been on a damn good run of form. We're not in the relegation zone. We are 8 points clear. We're looking all right. Peru and Nonto and 5 mil for Larsen. It's a tough sell because then you're trying to sell Nonto and going back to the Championship, which I think you don't succeed in. I think Nonto's response to that is, fuck off. No, I'm staying in the Premier League, thanks. Why would second Beale be injured? Looked fine after the game versus Newcastle. They didn't feature in the Cup against Derby unless they picked up strains in training. Farke's presser said everybody fine. It did. However, this is the information that has come out and seems to be sort of widely noted. I'm not saying I know why they're injured. I'm just passing on that there is significant word that they are, which is something that we need to pay a little bit of attention to. Sorry, not for. Dragons, if... Right, okay. I'm going to pull out this. I am someone that has always sought to not do clickbait shit, because when I worked as a writer doing sports journalism stuff, I will admit I did clickbait shit. I once had the top viewed article on Leeds United News Now for a good few hours on transfer deadline day that picked up 40,000 views by quite simply saying that there was a light on in the in the east stand of Elland Road, and that said that something was potentially going to happen. I know what it's like to clickbait things and not have any reasonable sources for stuff, because I've had to do it to make a living. This isn't that, because I have an actual job and I like making decent content. You can tell that I like making decent content, and I will show you exactly one of the little bits of evidence as to why. Because I like doing incredibly high effort videos and things. For example, of high effort video. Did you know that before a few days ago, there was no geographically accurate rail map of West Yorkshire that existed? There just wasn't one. There are 3 now because I've made them for a video idea. If I were just diving in on clickbait stuff and being like, yeah, I'm just going to do low effort, then I wouldn't do things like the Creator Cup. I do this because I enjoy it and because I like the community aspect of things, which is something that I'm going to keep committing to. So whenever people say that I'm clickbaiting stuff, I am never consciously clickbaiting anything at all. I do my best to not do clickbait. And if you like the fact that I don't do clickbait, subscribe or become a member. Hey, I had to squeeze that in. I'm sorry, guys. If I were Wolves, I'd want Peru for next season in the Championship. I completely understand Wolves wanting Peru. And to be honest, I think Peru making that move would make a lot of sense. So I can see Peru maybe being a sort of tool in a Strand Larsen move, but it's at the same time, Eredivisie clubs are potentially looking at Peru, so he could get European football. There's been links with PSV, so it's quite an interesting thing. Keep putting the likes in, says Kim. Thank you very much, Kim. I appreciate that. Thought it was clickbait too, but a few sources are saying no DCL. I've not seen no DCL. That's a new one. Slink is being harsh again. That's what Slink tends to do, though, to be fair. Saw something about Pascal wanting to leave in the summer. Is this bollocks? I haven't seen a single thing about Pascal potentially wanting to move away from Leeds United. I will keep a bit of an eye on it because it looks like one of those things that could have something to it, or it could be nonsense. But yeah, we'll see how that one goes. I love the difference here. Thank you very much, by the way, the 78 RPM saviour. Brett shouting, Larsen is a Leeds player, watch. Followed by Slink saying, we can't afford Strand Larsen, end of story. In terms of cash, we can. Because the 49ers have a shitload of cash. In terms of PSR, we would need to sell somebody. That's the thing that's going on here. You do what you do, Joe. Great content. We know you don't look like it. Thank you very much, Mighty Leeds. It's just a case of trying to sort of persuade the people that think I do that I don't. Like, there's been times where, and this specifically happened over the summer, when the Simmercast thing happened, where people are like, was that just clickbait, Joe? And it's like, no, I genuinely, a source that I very much trusted said that it was a thing, and it turns out that they were wrong. But that's going to happen sometimes. You're going to miss. The fact that I put myself out there doesn't mean that I tried to clickbait you, it just means that I was wrong. If Piru or Nonto go creative, PSR will be okay, spread the cost, I think so. Why have the owners put us in the state in the first place? Right, okay, what? Right, okay. I'm just going to run you through what the state was before the 49ers came in, Slink. Right, just so we're clear on this. The state that the 49ers were in, well, the state the club was in, sorry, was that we'd just been relegated to the Championship. We had relegation clauses on the majority of our players. So we lost Foba, we lost Christensen, we lost Adams, we lost Sinistera, we lost Harrison, we lost a wealth of footballers. And in the time since, they've completely rebuilt the squad, basically from scratch. So if I go to Leeds United 22-23 season, which I believe is the season that we went down. It was. Okay. And if we look through the list of players that are still playing significant roles in the club. 1, 2, you're gone, you're gone. You are gone, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. You're still here. Gone, 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 gone. Okay. Since the 49ers took over, we have had a complete squad rebuild. That means that the only players that still play any form of role in the squad that were here in the season that we went down are Aronson, Strauch, Nonto, James. Because Melier will leave. Harrison will leave. Outflow of players. Mateo Joseph, I think, will personally leave. Big old flow of players leaving Leeds. So the 49ers have completely rebuilt us. In the first season in the Championship, we very, very, very nearly went up. In the second season, we did, with a club points record, might I add. And this season, despite people saying we should have spent significantly more money, we've been in the relegation zone for 1 game week. 1. Everything points towards the fact that they're doing pretty damn well. So to say, how dare we be in this state, is a bit of a rough one, to be honest. And it shows that you are more driven by your pre-established beliefs than the actual reality of our situation. and that's not great. Yeah, we have Paveda starting on the wing. That's where we were at before the 49ers came in. By the way, the 49ers, I believe, have an NFL match tonight, which I might try and watch if I don't conk out unconscious, which is a fun one. 1 second, I'm just going to read through the chat and see where we're at. We need a car wash like Walter White. Yeah, just launder all the money, that'll do it. Oh, I'm also a member. You all should be, as Joe has a cat and baby to support. I do. I also have a dog to support. And a wife. Yeah. Money's fucking rough, man. Especially when I've forgotten to do YouTube for quite some time. I say forgotten, not had the chance, which is always good. Transfer situation could change in seconds. Yeah, like relentlessly. Damn auto loan clauses. Yeah, they hurt. They hurt quite bad. 1 second, I just need to check something. Okay. Sorry, work has now started, but I'm doing a couple of bits and bobs to make sure that I can stream for a little bit longer. Haha. Did I completely forget to add someone to this chat? I think I did. Oops. Right, I need to deal with something quickly. Oh, did I just not get one? Right, hold on. There we go. Right, cool. Double V Young Alan Partridge. I will take it. I keep getting it. I'm just fine at this point. Whatever. I'm going to lean into it. I've decided for Halloween this year I'm doing Alan Partridge or Steve Coogan or whatever seems more sort of apt, I suppose. Why not? Why do Americans own football teams when, in case they use tip calls to... What? When, in case they use tip call state soccer. What? That's not... That stops being words at a certain point, which is sort of impressive. If Wolves are thinking relegation, a good move to take Nonto and Pira for Larson, two previous best championship players. But that's the thing, you need the players to agree. You can't just sort of chuck them at Wolves and have them be like, yeah, okay, sure, this is fine. Because they won't want to play in the championship necessarily. Which sucks, but that's fine. Might Leeds, that's what I'm saying. Do you mean mighty, or are you saying might? I don't know. I'm confused. Oh, right. Okay. I get you. Another nice knit, by the way. Thank you. It's a lovely jumper. I'm wearing the sort of peacocky kit underneath because it's one of my favourite kits. It's a shame we didn't go up that season because it sort of tarred the memory of a really, really good kit. But it's fine. Love that we have a bench where some of the players won't come on the pitch, but you could argue they're good enough to start. Yeah, it's a change. We all know that this is a change. We're not used to having a decent level of talent, but it's a good one, and it's a change that absolutely everyone loves. Just let you know that Wacko account is fake, mate. Okay, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I keep saying this, but it's fine. Club will cash in on Brendan after the World Cup exposure this summer. Watch this space. It depends on how he does for the rest of the season. Because there's a chance that we don't need to cash in. And if he keeps doing ridiculously well, lovely. And at the end of the day, like when it comes to World Cup exposure, that I'd say that used to be a thing. Like I specifically remember like 2006, you would approach things and go, I have never seen this footballer in my life, and they are now ridiculously good. At that point, sure, I get it. I've ended the poll, by the way. Only 6% thought Fulham would win. There were times where like you would just scout players at the World Cup and you would sign players based on that. But now with all the information that we've got, I mean, like, I would argue that at my fingertips, playing a game of Football Manager, I have more information about world football than anyone did 15 years ago. So when you're approaching a World Cup, there are no surprises. All of the star players, everyone that is gonna break out, is known. Which I think means that unless someone is already interested in signing Brendan Aronson, they're not going to sign him based on a World Cup. If he has a really, really good season this year, sure, there'll be a little bit more interest. but it won't happen off the back of a World Cup, for me. At least based on various bits and bobs of evidence and all that kind of stuff. Like the fact that you've got players like Mastantuono getting picked up out of Argentina at the age of 17. You're having Chelsea sign players at 16 years old. That adjusts things a little bit. And it says that the World Cup isn't going to be the deciding factor. There are 10, but some are based on random votes. Okay. There we go. Sorry, worky bits. Aronson's unlikely to start games in the World Cup. It depends. Again, it comes down a lot to how he does this season. Because if he keeps playing at the rate that he is, I can honestly see the US sort of saying, okay, we'll give you a pop. Like, Pochettino isn't stupid. He's not the greatest of managers, but he's not an idiot. And there is a pretty damn good chance that he looks at the way that Aronson is playing right now, and if he keeps it going to the end of the season and Aronson ends up scoring 10 goals or something, then there's no reason that he doesn't decide to give him minutes. Like, if I have a look at the match report from United States' most recent game, the one against Uruguay. Because Uruguay, by the way, basket case of a team. They are all in open rebellion against Marcelo Bielsa because Bielsa is trying to make them an actual football team, which is baffling. But if you have a look at their lineup, they played Diego Luna, who has the same name as the guy who played the main character in Andor, but is in MLS. He scored 9 goals in 27 matches, which is decent. But if Aronson can get 9 in the Premier League, that stops being a conversation, in my opinion. They're also playing Timmy Tillman as a number 10, who, let's be completely clear about this, over the last season in MLS, he played 30 games, didn't score, got 2 assists. So why would you do that? The bench, fairly deep, I'll admit, fine. Gio Reyna, pretty fucking good. Ricardo Pepi, pretty fucking good. Brendan Aronson, very good. Balogun, very good. But Aronson has a perfectly good chance of just forcing his way into that. And I don't see why he wouldn't. I think he's got a decent chance. He'd be behind Pulisic for the role he plays for us. I think the role he plays for us isn't strictly a winger. I think he plays a different role to Pulisic because Pulisic... Is it Pulisic or Pulisic? I don't know. Malik Tillman. Is it Malik Tillman? It's saying Timmy Tillman on FBref, but we'll roll with it. Malik, fair enough. But for me, Aronson's in good form. And I don't see a reason that he doesn't start. I know that they're against Australia in the group. I think Australia get out of that group, by the way. If we check the World Cup draw. By the way, I might be working some World Cup matches, which is great fun. Looking forward to that one. United States in the same group as Paraguay, Australia, and the UEFA Path C winner. Like, realistically, you only need 4 points to get out of a group because you only need to be 3rd place, and it's a set number of 3rd places. So I think Australia get out of that group regardless, to be honest. Like, Aronson will play well, but we'll find out. Form's everything. Aronson's in form. He is. And on that, I think Aronson will do pretty damn well against Fulham, assuming Aronson starts. I think Aronson does start, though. It would be daft to drop Aronson at this point, right? In fact, right, I'm going to do a poll. I'm going to do another poll, because I want to know what people's opinions are on this. Do you think Stack and Beal are injured? Yes, both. Just Stack. Just Beal. And if anyone is correct, then you get to be smug. But I kind of want to know what people's views are on sort of the predictions on how fit we are. In the match info as we go. Oh, 67% of you think that neither of them are injured. Admittedly, not a lot of votes in yet, but that's kind of interesting. That's kind of fun. Still no update from Anton STACH's Instagram, by the way, which I know doesn't really say anything, but it can be telling, which is a little bit of interest. With how JJ is doing, Bogle has been brilliant too. I'd hate to be Farke picking the right back. There's a little bit of me that would be tempted to do something rather silly and fun, right? And it is quite silly and quite fun, but that's not the right monitor too. That's the right monitor too, and I go to there. Right. There's a world where you decide, actually, not going to play ball now. Rodon can play as the other centre-back. And James Justin plays here. Which I know, on the face of it, looks like you're sort of nerfing James Justin a little bit. You're sort of like ruining his vibe, man. Oh, shit, what have I done there? Lock you. There we go. Delete you. Fine. As you can tell, my whiteboard is a mess. Right, copy and paste. There we go. But there's a world where in possession, because we've been doing this a little bit recently, Okafor pulls over here. Aronson gets a free roll, but is effectively behind Calvert-Lewin. Tanaka and Ampadu here and here. Bogle bombs down the right, and then you've effectively got Justin as a right back anyway. So there's a world where you just say, right, James Justin, you have played at centre back. You have played at right back. With the ball, play as a right back. Without the ball, you're a centre back. Brilliant. Play the Joe Rodon role. And I think that could be a big sort of thing that puts us in the right direction. I hope. That'd be quite nice, wouldn't it? If... Oh, I don't like that I've tempted myself around to this. Oh, I've genuinely tempted myself around to this. Oh. Okay, I want to see this as our lineup now. I've changed my mind. Yeah, sod it. We're playing Justin as a right centre-back if Beale's not available. Farke said everyone was good, so he did, but I'm not the one that has invented some rumour. I'm the messenger. Don't shoot. We'll see. Aronson's finished his arc. He is Leeds and a great asset. I'm liking him at the minute. I'm genuinely a really big fan of Aronson's recent existence, which is a weird way of phrasing that, but it's the way that I'm going with. Joe, I've not seen you do any vlogs for a while. I know your life has changed not so long ago, becoming a father, but are there any vlogs upcoming on the horizon? It depends on how free I can be and if I can get tickets for any matches. So, being in the Premier League, it's harder to get tickets anyway. Add on to that wife is currently not working because baby, but was only on like a temp job beforehand, which means that maternity pay, not huge, which means that I'm having to lean into doing a lot of work stuff. But I work for a sports broadcaster. If you work for a sports broadcaster and you go to a Leeds match, there are other events that are happening at the same time as the Leeds match, and you effectively have to take the day off. So it's going to be pretty rare for me to be able to get to matches. I am planning on something that is a pretty nice high production value video that is admittedly a long way away. I'm going to need to get a bunch of people together in Leeds and take an entire day to film it, which is going to be fun. But I don't know if many people will watch it because that tends to happen with my high production stuff. We'll see. But I don't know. We'll find out. I'm looking forward to doing more vloggy stuff. I think I'm in the ballot for Birmingham away tickets, which is good. But I'll see if I can get to any others at some point soon. It'd be nice. It's the dream. we'll see. Looks good to you too. I'm glad. How can the chat know? I don't know, but that's the word. People will know people, and if I didn't sort of discuss these things, I would feel like I'm doing a disservice. Anything to do with trains? It could be something to do with trains, Yorkshire Robert. That would be why I did the big old train map. But yeah, that's the goal. Have something out that is nice and big and collaborative that happens. It might be a summer job because it is relying on a lot of people and a lot of various stakeholders, but it's something I've not done before, something a lot of Leeds YouTube viewers won't have seen before, and something that I think will be a very fun watch. A very high effort for me, both on the organisational side and on the editing side. The edit is going to be nuts, because I will have 6 cameras and full days worth of footage to work through, but it should be fun. I'm very, very genuinely looking forward to that. Like the formation, Bogle and Justin rip it up. They will. And Football Guru saying, guys, drop Joe a like and follow if you haven't. Indeed. Popping a like on the stream would be absolutely lovely. I'm currently at 81. If we could get to 100 by the time I pull this to a close, that'd be fantastic. I'm going to be ending in a not too long. But also, if you're not subscribed yet, that would also be genuinely brilliant. The part of the reason that, and this is being candid for a moment, right? This is getting a little bit mental health brain things for a second. But part of the reason that for a long time before the baby arrived, I was struggling to do YouTube stuff consistently, was having ADHD means that you get very stats focused. And being very, very stats focused in the world of YouTube is punishing. Because you will look at view counts and you will look at... Finishing this sentence. What the fuck was I about to say? You look at view counts, you look at subscriber numbers and everything like that, and if things aren't going in the right direction, your brain just goes, which means that you sort of lose the inspiration to make shit, which is why I sort of stopped for a while. I'm going to just sort of show you the data as to why it just didn't for a bit. Because the summer transfer window, if I can go over to the right monitor, there we go. The summer transfer window is this bit that goes up, and then 1st of September, flatline, dead. And then occasionally you get a little spike. Like I've done reasonably okay with videos since late December. But the fact is that when it just goes, it's very demotivating, especially when you're coming off the back of this. So, like, was this one the Creator Cup? Yeah, that one was the Creator Cup. So that's always fun. And I thought I'd just sort of explain that to be like, this is where the head is at. I'm trying to do more stuff now because I'm up at stupid o'clock in the morning looking after a baby. So I've got the time to do videos and streams and stuff like that. But this was a sort of quick sneak peek into the brain state and ultimately where things are sort of going on that one. But yeah, on that note, like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff because it stops me losing my tiny, tiny mind. One sec. I'm now actually actively in working time, so I may need to reply to things. There we go. Right, okay. Oh, whoever's just subscribed, thank you. I imagine you're watching, so pop in a comment. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know if this guy's American wacko who's typically not Leeds fan. What? Slink, I don't know what you're talking about. You seem to slowly be losing your mind. Bogle and Justin would rip it up. I think they would, but it's sort of a case of Uh, is it something that Daniel Farke will go for? Because it's a very aggressive move. It's one that I think works against Burnley, who you know are going to sit off against you, but Fulham can be a little bit squiffy. Fulham can be a little bit, they will either come at you or they will sit off a little bit, and it's complicated. Like, I had a look at their possession stats through the majority of the season so far, and it's so up and down that it's kind of difficult to predict what we'll get out of them. So, hopefully, something we can deal with, but we'll find out. Bogle wasn't 100% fit, they need Justin on the bench to cover. You do, but then again, you could equally make the argument of Bogle starting means that you can just shift him outside and then bring on a centre-back, which I think works as an alternative strategy. If we don't end up going for it, then fine, but I think Bornau's more likely to start. I hope it's Beal, and I hope it's Stack, to be completely clear. Like, as much as people are like, I don't think Stack or Beal are injured, fine, cool. If they're not injured, that is a good thing, and that makes me happy, because that means we have a fully fit squad, and said squad will be able to pick up as many points as feasibly possible. But this is if they are injured, this is what my sort of formation would be, this is the approach that I would take, all that kind of stuff. I think Tanaka would be a reasonably good shout, but we'll see. It's going to be an interesting one, I think, regardless. If Bo, I've just seen that one. They're not injured. You can't just keep saying things and being like, yeah, well, this is going to be right. Like, if you're right, fine. That's a good thing. That is a positive. But I don't know. I'm hopeful that they're okay, but can't be certain. That's the dream at the very least. One more quick question for everyone. If you've got any more queries, spam them out in the chat as much as you fancy. That would be absolutely spectacular. Because, hey, what's going on? Just got here. There are rumours that there are a couple of injured players for Leeds today, which could cause a little bit of a problem. I think we'll deal with it, whether they are fit or whether they are unfit. But, yeah, sometimes it's the job of a creator to report things, whether they are true, whether they are questionable. If I didn't do this, and I was just like, yeah, everyone's fine, everything is fine, but I'd heard people saying that things were not fine, then I would be kicking myself, and people would be saying, Joe, why did you lie to us? So that's why we're having this conversation, I guess. Because if we weren't having this conversation, then I could be wrong, and if I didn't mention it, then that would be a shame. Find out in a couple of hours for sure. Yeah, we will. Well, the job then, if they're creative. What are you talking about, Sling? Makes some sense sometimes. If they're injured, it'll be an excuse for Farke to keep playing Bornau and Tanaka. Honestly, I think they kind of deserve a start. Like, they're not bad players. Didn't Farke say at the recent press conference that everyone except Dan James? Yes, but things have come out since, and I imagine people can get injured during team training. Like, that has happened before, consistently to Leeds United. So it gets a little bit weird. Hang on, I'm just gonna transparent background, duplicate you, because I'm doing a thing, ladies and gentlemen. You're goddamn right, I'm doing something. Add a source. I've completely fucked that, I think. That should be better. Right. Not media file. Image. Add source. There we go. Add a new source. Bosh. Image file. Let's pick one. I'm not upset that I think Tanaka needs more playing time and Bornau hasn't played bad at all. Weird having some depth at Leeds. Yeah, I mean, people have tended to look at it like, no, the sky's falling, we're in trouble. There we go. That's what I've been doing for the last few minutes. People like to be scared, which I understand. But I would like people to not be scared, because I think we can quite reasonably deal with it. Like, it's not going to be a problem. Anyway, I'm going to end the stream there, because I'm very much looking forward to the match itself, but I have work to do first. So hopefully I see as many of you guys as possible over on Big Up. That'd be good. I popped the link in a little bit earlier, but I will do so again beforehand. You've timed that really badly, Trevor, because I'm bailing right about now. If you haven't yet, I'd massively appreciate you popping a like on the stream. We're currently sat at 93, not 93, at 91. So hitting 100 before we finish would be stunning. But yeah, I'm going to leave that there. Hope you all enjoyed. Like, subscribe, become a member, all that fun stuff. I will see you later. And let's just win against Fulham. That'd be nice. Toodaloo.